Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to start creating the first REST API project in the C# and the Visual Studio 2022. So let's start. At the first step, we need to run the Visual Studio 2022, or you can use the newer versions or the older versions. But personally, I prefer to use the 2022. So come over here and come to this and create the new project. And inside it, we need to select the project type at the first step. So let's come over here. And for faster results, let's write REST. And this is RESTful. The RESTful, and we have the ASP.NET Core Web API. And it is the RESTful Web API. And my programming language is the C#. It can be used inside the Linux, the Mac OS, Windows, and other platforms and devices. So if I take a look over here, I have another one and it is similar to this. And if I take a look over here, you can see it is the ASP.NET Core Web API, but the coding language is different. It is by the F# as you see over here, but my favorite programming language is the C#. Now let's select this one, and it is ASP.NET Core Web API. So come to the next. In this window, we need to write the appropriate project name. So let's write something like this. So this is my first REST API or anything that you want. Come over here and select the project location. So click on this, come to the rep OS and come to the select folder. Now I have something like this. This folder is completely optional and by default it is over here. So I prefer to use the default location. Then we have the solution name. The solution is something like the folder that has one or more projects inside it. You can leave it by default something like this, or you can add the SN at the end of it. SN stands for solution name or solution. So we have the my first REST API, then the location, then the solution name. Do you want to place or put the solution and the project in the same directory? No, I don't want to do that, and I want to create the dedicated and separate folder for the solution and also for the project. So uncheck this checkbox. Now we have the final location for creating the project. As you see over here, I have my first REST API SN. This is the solution folder. Then I have the dedicated folder for my project based on this one. Now come to the next. In this window, we need to select the framework. By default, you can see it's .NET 9, or you can select the newer versions. You are completely free selecting the old versions or the newer versions in the future. But personally, I prefer to use the .NET 9.0 to prevent any unexpected errors. Do you want to add the HTTPS? No, I don't want to add it. Also, we can add it in the future. So uncheck this one. And over here, I have the use controllers to use the controllers and come to the create. And we need to be patient until creating the new project for us based on the dedicated settings. Well done. So my project is created over here. And if I take a look, by default, we have the weather forecast file that is the model of the project. This is created automatically, so we don't need to work with this. But it's really great sample for learning the structure and how to work with the API in the C# language. So this is the model and it has the different properties, and you can see the date, temperature, the Kelvin, then the temperature Fahrenheit, and summary. Also, if I get inside the controllers, everything is based on the controller in the web API or RESTful API. So we need to add the controller and write the code inside it. So we have something like this. As you see at the top, we have the API controller over here. Then we have the root to define the root of the URL or the URL itself. Then we have all the matters, and you can see the actions, and we have the different actions and the methods over here. So to get the data, we have something like this to get the data, and it is HTTP GET. At the first look, all of these are really strange and hard to understand, but believe me, its structure is really simple and straightforward. Step by step, I'll show you how to start working with the API and how to create your own API one by one without any problem. So just stay with me. So come over here, and this is, as you see, and its root is the controller name only, and my controller name is weather forecast. You can see it over here, or the weather forecast. This is. Now come over here and come to this and select the IIS experts because I want to work with the IIS. And then start it without debugging, or start with the debugging. I don't want the debugging, so let's start without debugging and click on that. As you see, my API is loaded, but I can't see anything. And this is my browser, and it is the Google Chrome, so I can change it. Come over here, and before running it, come to this part, and I have the web browser, and I'm gonna select the Google Chrome. If you want to work with the Firefox, so you need to install it first on your computer, then start working with it. Or even if you want to work with the Microsoft Edge, you need to install it first, then start checking it over here. Or for using all the web browsers, you need to first install the browser, then close the Visual Studio and open it from scratch, and the name will be added over here. So my favorite one is the Google Chrome, and I strongly recommend you to start working with it. So come over here and get inside this. As you see, we need to add the address, so add the slash, and based on the root over here. This is the root, so we need to write the controller name, this one. So the controller name is this, weather forecast controller. We don't need to write the controller name, so the weather forecast is the controller name. Copy, come over here and paste it exactly like this and press enter. Wow, what happened? If I zoom in, as you see, the result or the response is in the JSON format. You can use the JSON format for the response, or the string format, or any other formats that you want. But the most common is the JSON because its format is really great and amazing and also easy to learn. Then we can use the JSON to add the different data types of the data easily by codes, something like this, the curly braces or the brackets, and also the colons over here. So if I click on the pretty print, click on that. So this is the pretty print, and we have the different data. This is the first one, and after that, this is the second one. Then we have the next up to the end. And as I mentioned previously, for better results, I can get inside the online shop JSON viewer. You can use the JSON viewer.stack.hu or any other website that you want. There is many different websites for working with the JSON. So come over here and come to this. I can select this one, and let's copy this, get inside the JSON viewer. And over here, I have the text. You can see the text. Then I have the viewer. So we have up to 5 different items. The first one is number 0, as it is the date. This is the date. Then we have the temperature in the Kelvin. Then we have the temperature in the Fahrenheit. And the summary is this. Or even I can select the last one. So we have the date. It's different from the first set. You can see the different date here and also here. Then we have the temperature, the Kelvin temperature, the Fahrenheit temperature, and also the summary results over here. So this was about the weather forecasting, as you see. And also the result is with the JSON. And we have many great tips and tricks about that. So if I take a look, more than all of this, we have another types of the information. So if I right click over here and inspect, and I want to show you more information, moreover the result, something like this. So come over here and select the network. In the network, I have the dock, and this is the dock. Let's select the dock, come over here, and this is the forecast, weather forecast. You can see the weather forecast over here. So let's press enter. As you see, the new record is added over here. Let's show it, but we haven't enough space, so let's select this. Great. And let's do it one more time. Come over here and press enter to generate the new one. So the new request is added over here. The response status is 200. 200 means it is okay. So everything is okay without any problem. And if I click on the weather forecast, we have more information about it. So we have the preview of the data, we have the different headers and more information in it. For better results, I can come over here and select this, and let's select the right side and show it something like this. Also, I can resize this one. Now, if I take a look, I have the network tab. This is the network tab. Then we have the dock. And over here, I have the request. Let's add one more time. And the request is added over here. You can see the weather forecast. If I click on that, I have the general items. The preview is the preview of the data. So we have something like this in the JSON format. You can see everything in the correct order. Then we have the headers or more information about the request and response. So we have the URL or request URL. The request is get. A status code is 200 OK. And after that, we have the response headers. We have the content type, application JSON. You can see it. Then we have the date of response. The server is the IIS because we have selected the IIS over here. So it's accessible over here, the Microsoft IIS 10. Then we have the request header. And this was the response header. And this is the request header. The request when we execute this. And this is the URL of my request. So as you see, I have the authority, then we have the method, it's get the path up to the end. You know what? You don't need to memorize all of this. For your deeper and for your better understanding, I'm going to talk about this. So don't worry about anything. Just watch your video tutorial and repeat it after me. So we have all of these options and the data about the request header that is not usable and is not practical in most of the cases. So this was about how to start running the first REST API. So let's close this one and get inside the Visual Studio. What about the next step? In the next step is time to start adding the new controller for the first Hello World REST API. It's time consuming, so let's talk about it in the upcoming tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness.